All right, let's jump right into the incredible story of Luang Pu Suk of Wat Pak Khlong Makham Thao. This is a name that, just echoes through Thai history as one of the most powerful and revered monks who ever lived. We're going to explore his life, his unbelievable miracles, and the really profound legacy he left behind. So this is the big question at the heart of his story, right? How does a regular guy become a monk so legendary, so powerful, that his number one student is a prince? It's this amazing tale where immense spiritual power and royal devotion just collide, and it kind of blurs the line between what's history and what's a miracle. And here he is, the man himself, Luang Pu Suk. He was also known by his official title, Phra Khru Wimon Khunakon. But listen, he wasn't just a monk. He was a total icon, a master of meditation and these esoteric arts whose reputation for wisdom and miraculous powers made him a living legend, even in his own time. But before all the fame, before all the reverence, Luang Pu Suk was just Suk. He was a young man living a completely ordinary life. And his journey from that normal life to becoming this legendary monk is just a fascinating story of destiny and really of choice. Okay, what's so interesting about his life is how it unfolds. He was born in 2390, but then at just 10 years old, he runs away to Bangkok. He grows up, he gets married, he even has a son. It's not until he's 22 that he decides to get ordained. So this wasn't a path he was on from childhood. It was a conscious decision that changed absolutely everything, and it eventually led him back to his hometown to care for his mom and build this incredible legacy before passing away in 2046. Now, these powers didn't just appear out of thin air. Not at all. He went through some really tough training with masters of meditation and sacred sciences, like his first teacher, Phra Atikon Choi. He even traveled around and exchanged knowledge with other famous monks of his time, like Luang Pu Suk. He was constantly sharpening his extraordinary abilities. And it was this deep, profound knowledge that led to the most pivotal relationship of his life. This was a fateful meeting that would take his story from being a local legend to a true national icon. And his disciple was no ordinary person. We're talking about Prince Abakara Kirtivongse, the Prince of Champhan. He was a son of King Rama V and is still revered today as the father of the Royal Thai Navy. This was a man of immense status and power, and he became completely captivated by the monk from Chai Nat. So what convinced the prince? Well, according to legend, the prince's boat moored near the temple, and he saw Luang Pu Suk doing what looked like a simple trick for the temple kids. He enchanted a banana blossom, and right there, before their eyes, it turned into a living, hopping rabbit. For the prince, this was that first spark of belief. But what happened next? That's what sealed it. The prince was still kind of testing the monk, so he let his own royal soldiers walk into a pond. Luang Pu Suk then performed another incantation, and to the prince's absolute shock, he watched his men transform into crocodiles swimming in the water. I mean, this wasn't just a magic trick. This was a display of power that completely defied logic. And yeah, that was enough to make the prince his devoted follower for life. And this just shows you the depth of their bond. The prince didn't just learn from him, he became his patron, his protector. He studied Buddhist magic directly from Luang Pu Suk, he built him a residence in Bangkok, and, this is incredible, he personally painted the murals of the Buddha's life inside the temple's main hall. You can actually still go see his royal handiwork today. But for all the amazing knowledge the prince gained, there was a line Luang Pu Suk would never, ever cross. He possessed knowledge of 4 specific arts that were so powerful, so potentially destructive, that he made a vow to never teach them to anyone. And just look at the sheer scale of these powers. We are talking about enchanting a single bullet to zigzag and wipe out an entire army, turning a handful of ash into a fire that could burn down a whole city, conjuring a mountain out of rice grains, or transforming sand into a tidal wave big enough to drown a nation. This wasn't just magic. This was the power to create world-ending disasters. So why didn't he pass them on? Not even to his most trusted royal disciple? Well, it's because he understood the incredible danger. He believed these arts fundamentally violated the laws of karma. He knew that in the hands of a normal person, someone swayed by anger or greed, that kind of power would lead to nothing but global catastrophe. His wisdom was even greater than his power. So while he let that ultimate knowledge fade away with him, he did leave behind a tangible legacy of his spiritual power, and that came in the form of his sacred amulets, which are considered some of the most powerful and sought after in all of Thailand. And this slide shows some of his most legendary creations. The Phra Khru is probably his most famous. The teeny tiny Phra Khru by Makham is considered one of the top 5 of its kind in the world. Even a simple photograph with his sacred script written on it is a priceless relic. And that medal, minted in 2466, the year he died, that's a holy grail for collectors. So as we get to the end of his life story, it's pretty clear his influence didn't end when he passed away. His legacy is one of unwavering faith, of real spiritual power, and a wisdom that still inspires reverence today. And in a final, really poignant twist of fate, one that seems to perfectly highlight their deep connection, both the master and the disciple passed away in the very same year. The prince died in May of 2466, and Luang Pu Suk followed him just a few months later in December. It was almost as if their destinies were truly inseparably intertwined right to the very end. And that leaves us with a final thought. When you look past the rabbits and the crocodiles, past all the legends of forbidden power, what's the real lesson here? Maybe it's that the greatest power isn't the ability to change the world around you, but the wisdom to know when not to, and to choose compassion instead. It's a lesson from a legendary monk that resonates for sure, even today.